Avery made her college debut in game 1. And this is a veteran, was a clear two-way player last year. Had both offensive and pitching roles, pitching in the circle. 25 2/3 innings. As that one is fouled off at home plate.
Yeah, the Nielsen sisters from Tucson. Already saw younger sis Avery, now seeing the redshirt junior Riley, who is one of the aces on this staff. Yeah, that doesn't feel good when you're behind the dish. Catchers are tough, though.
Bouncing ball out toward short, played perfectly. You had got to hurry it when you're dealing with Shockey. Knight turns it into an out.
Yeah, worth noting that Southern Utah is down a couple of players defensively. Really, you know, you're missing your shortstop, your second baseman, and now everyone has to shift over a position. And didn't really get to talk about that in our first game, but not exactly the way you want to start opening day. You, of course, as a head coach, want everyone healthy, ready to go, but really that's just not real life. You may have players that are sick or out with injury, and so, you know, you can't fight that. It's next woman up, and it's an opportunity if you're someone that maybe is not in the starting lineup every day to say, hey, coach, it's opening day and I'm ready to go.
Nielsen last year kind of pitched better than her numbers, but ended up having a pretty high ERA, 25 2/3 innings, 13 strikeouts. Bouncing ball out toward short, another chance and another well-played softball out there by the shortstop Isabella Ray. Look, we saw Serenity Trice right away unleashed in game 1. She was 3 for 3 with extra base hits.
And this is a great play here from Knight at shortstop, who is not really their everyday shortstop for Southern Utah. They're missing Townie Moseras, also missing Carson Sanchez, who's their second baseman. And so if you're Knight at shortstop, she's making a name for herself.
Do you see her create momentum to make that throw,
Yeah,
get into a hop right away?
She started her motion, had her legs going before the ball's even in her glove, because she knows the speed that Serenity Trice has. This is textbook.
And little things. It's fun to be back sitting up here talking with you, taking a peek at the little things that go into the sport. 2-0 the count to Sydney Stewart. Stewart walked, otherwise struck out once, coming off a 20 home run season and an All-American campaign. Not working behind the plate in this one. Grace Jenkins, who can play just about anywhere, will catch. 2-2.
It's a good spot there from Nielsen. Working that drop on the outside part of the plate.
Rob Pentecoff is working behind the plate as that one's rolled to the right side. Well, she is just unafraid to let the ball travel deep in her stance. That's where she does a ton of damage.
An off-speed pitch from Nielsen. 2 strikes on Stewart. You can see her legs, they hold, hands stay back, and to your point, sees it to the right side of the infield, gets it through the outfield for a single.
And here is a talented athlete making her catch debut in game 1 after dominating the Big East at UConn for 3 years. She'll catch in this game. Grace Jenkins walked a couple of times, drove in a run as well. Big East Player of the Year 1 season ago, as the count is 1-1. Daughter of Charles and Kathleen Jenkins. A
part of that run and a part of that staff, and it was a long drought that Arizona hadn't been back to the Women's College World Series. And they had that run with Taylor McQuillan, who's on the staff. Taylor, who's on staff for Southern Utah, that is. Taylor was on the team when Caitlin was a coach, so there was such a big hug and a moment for those two before this day got started. But yeah, Coach Lowe was a part of that team to get Arizona back to the Women's College World Series for 2 straight years. And of course, she becomes the head coach. And what does she do? She takes the team right back to OKC.
By the way, 2 really good pitches to get Talataina and then Sniffen back to back. in.
Almost exact same outs. Pop-ups on balls that are in tight on the hands.
Taylor Beal, the shortstop, takes a screwball over the outside corner. It's hard to figure out when you look back at the numbers from last year how this pitcher pitched to a double-digit ERA. This is good stuff. And again, we evolve as humans, as athletes. That was her sophomore year. Emily Delgado was ahead of her, eating a lot of innings. Winston threw 96 innings in her senior year for Southern Utah. 2-1 the count.
This is her 4th year.
Her body. No matter what occurs, it was a snappy, great opening day play by Munoz and Ramirez. For a runner like Duke that is always going to try to gain an advantage. Addison played a lot defensively, was an Ole Miss defensive replacement quite a bit last year, has a really good speed.
I think it's a good challenge for Arizona. They looked at it for a long time.
Yeah, well spent. I think your point was valid. I think the obstruction may have been the ask.
And to me, she was clearly out, so that's kind of where the interpretation's gonna be fun. If the runner is completely out, the ball beats her, even if there's contact, she is out.
Pretty good 3-0 pitch. It's called ball 4, though. Keep an eye on Shockey because you know Munoz and Ramirez will, along with Nielsen in the circle.
And that's tough for Nielsen. That was a lengthy delay. You kind of lose your mojo a little bit.
Serenity Trice. Grounded out to short back in the first inning. Nice little play by his career at UConn. Those 3 amazing seasons there. And when it was all said and done, she had a ton of hits, all that we've shared with you, a .475 career on base. Talataina drops down a bunt. It's a pretty one. Only plays to first. The immediate look for Nielsen was to second, but no one was there, so she took the out that was in front of her. But there you go, a little bit of little ball again.
Sacrifice bunt, it lives. This is big time from a freshman. Maybe would have had a play at third base, but as a pitcher, you have to go into that fielding position knowing that you're going to third base. If you go to field that ball and your belly button is kind of facing home plate, you have no chance. That was a great bunt.
Sniffing. It's knocked down, throw to third. Beautifully executed, but around the tag. So the play was made, the throw was there, and then just a pretty little swim dive around that tag.
It had her out. Sydney Stewart getting her hand in, maybe? I'm telling you, that sliding glove, that oven mitt, if you will.
What you just said there, a lot of conviction.
Maybe. Thanks.
Maybe.
Looks like we're gonna have a little chat here. The umpires will talk it over.
I mean, the swim move was there. Did she get her, though? That's the key. Did she get her with the tag?
I think the initial call is correct. I think there was a little bit of a miss. And because I'm also watching the reaction, the pure reaction from the third baseman, it kind of looked like she knew that she missed. What I was going to say is that oven mitt that everyone wears when you're running the bases, doesn't it make your hand like a little bit longer? I would wear on both hands. I mean, look at that compared to her other hand. That's like 4 inches.
Get you there quicker. More to tag. You could argue that there's more to tag, but
sure,
it gets you there quicker.
Maybe.
Now that maybe have more conviction.
And I think this will stand. And like you said, Sarah Wright, she's been in control. Anytime there has been a hit, she's come right back to it and shut the inning down.
Down off the end of the bat, hangs up very nicely for a talented, speedy center fielder like Reagan Shockey. Put a nice pass at that softball, but couldn't square it up. Isabella Knight. Played just a bit last year, saw her way into 11 games for the Thunderbirds. All-state performer at West Jordan High School a couple of times. Teeth on that one, 0-2. If you swing at that pitch, you're picking up your knuckles.
Well, now you can play 0-2 as a pitcher. You can go back to the drop, just expand the zone, go down in the dirt, or you can go upstairs with the rise.
Yeah, I knew she did it for you. I was going to say it, but she worked quickly. That's what you're talking about.
And even if the hitter doesn't swing at that, even though, you know, they're in swing mode and they're going to protect and expand their zone, it's going to be a ball. It makes your drop ball, which is probably the pitch that would be coming next, it makes your drop ball look that much better, moves their eyes around. You just have to have something to offset your best pitch.
Alice Kenzie was talking about that. That's why I went back to that a couple of innings ago. Great drop ball, really good screwball. Down, down, and down is that pitch. And that's cool to see her work that with 2 strikes. 0-2 as well. Aubrey Burgos, Peoria, Arizona native. Just foul, would have been extra bases, would have been a run. Not only do you have that feeling inside, but then your pitcher says, let me get you back ASAP, as you see this again.
A couple of inches there. Now, Sarah Wright, she was in a groove, no doubt.
So looking at the metrics from last year when she worked at Indiana, Barry, not like Wright, not at all a ground ball pitcher. As a matter of fact, 6 out of every 10 that were put in play were fly balls. Not a whole bunch of them went out was the good news, but pitched as a fly ball pitcher as that one is in the air, but it's foul.
A screwball, rise ball combo. Also has a good changeup she'll use. Just in case she needs to be ready. Sarah watching on from the bullpen.
Today's got to feel good for her. We talked about how much she had to watch last year. Just cheer and watch and watch and cheer, and then do a lot of work when nobody's watching as well. You go through the fall, the games quote unquote don't count, but they're intense. You wait, and then you have this debut. And it's a good debut, and it's got to make you feel good. You know, as a matter of fact, not just the debut of Wright, but the debut of Jalen Adams, who, with a shortened no-hitter, also jumped onto the scene. Much more experienced pitcher at the college level, but still a great way to start things with that no-no in game 1. Jenkins puts her nose on it and blocks it up.
Yeah, new battery here for Arizona with 2 transfers. Jalen, another transfer in the bullpen, getting loose. Grace Jenkins behind the plate. Of course, Barry in the circle.